All right, let's talk about something that's been happening online, something that's kind of strange and honestly a little uncomfortable. We're diving into a growing trend where a person's pain isn't just entertainment, it's something people actually pay for. So that brings us to the big question, right? When exactly did watching another person suffer become fun? I mean, picture this, and you've probably seen it. A streamer is standing in freezing cold seawater, just punishing himself. Why? Because people in the chat are paying him to, typing things like, "This is hilarious, do it again." So, where's the line between a goofy, one-time challenge and, well, something else? Yeah, that's the line we're going to trace today. How does something start as a fun, harmless dare and slowly morph into this cycle of demanded suffering? How does it start to feel less like a good time and a lot more like cruelty? Look, a single dare can be funny. We've all been there, but when it's demanded over and over, especially for money, the whole thing changes. One source puts it perfectly. The frequency turns what was fun into actual torture. And the most shocking part, people are enjoying it. This isn't just a few isolated incidents. It's becoming a pattern, a specific role that streamers are getting pushed into. And it's so common now that, believe it or not, there's a name for it. They're called digital clowns. The term digital clown really took off in South Korea. And it's a powerful idea. Think of it like a modern-day court jester. Their job is to entertain the people with power, in this case, the audience with the wallets. But the entertainment isn't about clever jokes. It's about how much humiliation and pain they're willing to take. Their suffering literally becomes the product. On the surface, the justification sounds simple, right? The job of a clown itself is just to be funny. But in this online world, the definition of funny has gotten twisted. Now it can mean watching someone get hurt, watching them break down, all for a reaction, all for a few bucks in donation. But this isn't just about the person on screen. It really makes you wonder about the audience. What happens to us when we're the ones watching this stuff, day in and day out? Does seeing so much pain on a screen start to change how we feel about it in real life? Well, there's a psychological term for exactly that: desensitization. The idea is actually pretty straightforward, but really powerful. The more you see something shocking, the less it shocks you. Your brain essentially just turns down the volume on your empathy. And this usually happens in 3 steps. The first time you see it, you feel that natural shock, that empathy. Wow, that looks awful. But then, after seeing it again and again, you move to step 2. Viewers don't just watch anymore, they start participating. Hey, do it again, here's $10. And that leads to the final, most dangerous step: normalization. The pain isn't a human experience anymore. It's just part of the show. And you have to realize this isn't just happening by accident. Some people are calling it a platform torture system. It's a whole structure built on a very clear, very cold transaction. It's fueled by the viewer's need for entertainment and the creator's need for an income. So let's look at this transaction. It's a really simple loop. The viewer donates money because, well, it's entertaining, and it gives them a feeling of power. In return, the streamer performs these painful missions to get that income and stay popular. It's a direct feedback loop where cash is exchanged for suffering. What this all boils down to is that the system puts a literal price tag on human dignity. I'm not speaking in metaphors here. It's a real transaction. How much for you to eat that spicy pepper? How much for you to go through this humiliation? A person's suffering becomes a product you can just add to your cart. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Come on, it's just the internet. What's the real harm? But here's the thing. The argument is that these effects don't just stay neatly packed away online. They start to bleed into our real-world ethics and wear away at something really important in how we treat each other. When we get used to seeing cruelty online, we can actually start to lose our sense of guilt about causing harm anywhere. That line between a justified reaction and just an unfair attack gets really, really blurry, both online and off. And here's the critical difference we need to talk about. Let's say someone wrongs you. A justified defense is setting a boundary, like saying, okay, I'm done with this relationship. But an unjustified attack is deciding that because they did something bad, you now have a free pass to hurt them back. See, that first action is about protecting yourself. It's a boundary. But the second one? That's just starting a whole new cycle of wrong. At a culture that gets used to enjoying pain as entertainment, it's at a huge risk of forgetting that distinction. It makes us feel like if someone is cringy or bad, we have the right to punish them, to make them suffer for our amusement. And that leads to a really sobering final thought. If we let ourselves become numb to a culture that chips away at human dignity, no matter how it does it, we create a world where anybody, at any time, could be turned into a product. In the end, we all risk becoming content. Which brings us right back to the beginning. When we look at this kind of content, when we look at our own reactions, we have to ask ourselves a very simple, very honest question. Is this stuff really funny? Or is it possible that we've just gotten used to it? That we've seen it so much that our empathy has been worn down and we've kind of forgotten what it means to look at another person and see a human being, not just a character or a clown on a screen? That's the question I'll leave you with.